discuss the long-term prospects for the sector as a whole with Atul Chaturvedi, Executive Chairman, Shree Renuka Sugars, now joining us on the show. Good to have you on board. To begin with, there are some reports that are surfacing, Mr. Chaturvedi, yet again, that the sugar exports will be banned in the current sugar season. And time and again, you have reiterated that the sugar exports will not be allowed. Do you continue to maintain your stance?
No, I see no reason to change that view. In any case, the government of India is, in any case, very, very proactive as far as inflationary impact on the food is concerned. And I see no reason why sugar exports might happen this year. And more so because we are also having a lower production in probably Karnataka and Maharashtra. And in spite of whatever we may say, I don't think the government is going to open up the exports, and they will much rather prefer to err on the side of caution.
Okay, so reports are also suggesting that the quota for some overseas sales could be issued if the domestic supply improves during the year. Just wondering if you see this coming as a possibility?
You mean import into the country?
That's right, that the quota for some overseas sales could be issued if the domestic supply improves.
I don't see any prospect of that, unless it's a G2G kind of a scenario, which is happening in probably rice, that some countries which may be struggling for sugar, they might approach government of India, and then some quantity might get allocated. But I don't see that scenario happening as of today.
Now, a few days ago, the company completed the acquisition of Anamika Sugar Mills. That was about 235 crore rupees. I want to understand what kind of synergies the company could enjoy, what could be the incremental benefit, particularly on your financials, if you could share with us, or your top line as well as on the profitability front.
No, as far as the financials are concerned, we are in a silent period, but I can give you the rationale why we've gone into UP. If you look at our asset base, we are largely concentrated in the state of Karnataka and Maharashtra. So it was important for us to de-risk our business geographically. And UP being a very big producer of cane, it was logical for us to enter UP. And secondly, we also have a strong brand called Madhur, which happens to be the market leader in the country. And moving sugar for supplying to UP and Eastern India was a bit of a logistical challenge. So with a unit in UP, I think that should help us in spreading the Madhur sugar in northern India, which is much more populous as far as that part of the world is concerned. So I think it's essentially to geographically de-risk our business, and that is the reason. And I'm sure it is going to definitely impact our both top line and bottom line as we go forward. That's the rationale behind it.
Just wanted to get your sense in on pricing as well, because sugar prices, as we understand, are on the rise globally because of the supply constraints from top producers like us, as well as Brazil too. Could you help us understand which trajectory do you think domestic prices would be headed in?
No, you are absolutely spot on when you say internationally the sugar prices are on the boil. And that's largely because Brazil happens to have a very good crop this year, but they also face a lot of logistical challenges. And they also had a very good soya crop and a good corn crop. And all these crops compete for the same shipping space. So that's a bit of a challenge. And they're not able to ship more than 2.5 to 2.75 million tons on a monthly basis. And with India out of the picture as far as export is concerned, India last year or rather this year has exported something like 6.3 to 6.4 million tons to the world market. So the world market is less supplied to that extent. And with Thailand also not showing a very good crop, and their crop is likely to be down to about 7.5 million tons. So all this is resulting in firm international prices. But having said that, that is not going to impact the domestic prices big time. Though some upward movement we can see as far as the domestic values are concerned, but that is largely a reflection of the inventories in the country coming down to much more logical level at about something like 5.5 million tons or thereabouts. So with our sugar inventories coming down, it is getting reflected in the domestic values, which are inching up. But we do not see the domestic values going through the roof. But we will have to probably accept that the new normal would be anything between 38 to 40 rupees as far as sugar from the mills is concerned. And 38 to 40 is no big deal because the price increase is only about 3-4 rupees from what it was a few months back. So I don't think government needs to worry too much on that count. And sugar prices would remain largely in check. And with the crushing season also starting in about 15-20 days' time, the sugar values should moderate.
The other moving part is also global crude prices, right? While in the last 5 odd days, ever since the turmoil in Israel began, they definitely have seen a cool off, but largely they are on the boil once again. Do you believe this is a great time then to start pushing ethanol blending further?
That's a very interesting question, because the delta between ethanol and sugar prices has shrunk. And if the ethanol prices are not moved upwards, probably you might see more sugar getting produced in the country. So we hope the government does not go back on its commitment of almost 20% blending by 2025, in spite of whatever little hiccups may happen. And according to what information we are having, I think the government is still committed for the ethanol blending program. And this year could be a minor blip, but still we would have adequate sugar. One thing which I would like to share with you is, even if the Indian sugar production falls down to 30 million tons, our domestic consumption is not more than 28 million tons. And when we say 30 million tons of sugar, this is after reducing 4.5 million tons of diversion. So if we exclude the diversion to ethanol, then your sugar production actually could be something like 34.5 million tons, which to my mind is adequate, and the government need not worry on ethanol ensuring that the sugar goes out of the system. I don't think it's going to happen.
Okay, good to have you, Mr. Chaturvedi. Thank you for joining in and pointing out all of those details and giving us a lot more clarity on the sugar industry.